All right, let's show you a little card trick with the 4 queens, for example. So let's scoot through here. We've got 1 and 2, and this should be 3, and 1 more. That's perfect. Now, the cool part about this trick that uses the queens is that I don't actually have to do anything. The queens do the trick themselves. Now, that seems unlikely, I appreciate, but I'll show you what I mean. The idea is we start off with all the queens facing the same way. That's the first important part. And then I'm going to mix them up a little bit. So I'm going to take one of the queens and put it to the bottom, and the other queen goes on top. And we're just going to give them a little move like this, and somewhere in that process, they all corrected themselves, and Owen received an email. Let me show you that again, in case you think I tried to misdirect you with the amusing sound. One of the queens goes on bottom, the other one goes on top. You can see them all set up and ready to rock and roll. We give them a little spin through the back of the packet, and all of the queens immediately straighten themselves up again, giving me 4 face-down cards. Now, some people don't believe it's the queens that are actually doing this themselves. They think that I am helping them with the fancy move. So let me show you it without the fancy move. Just turn the queens over. That's all you need to do. A little click, and they instantly straighten themselves straight back out, giving me all 4 cards. But that's not the coolest thing the queens can do. If I give a little turn, one of the queens changes into the ace of spades. Now that's pretty awesome, but if we give it a little push through the back of the hand, then actually all the queens change, and it just leaves you with 1, 2, 3, 4 aces.
So we had a huge number of entries for the Cameron Francis competition. It was quite strange having my email inbox full of swear words. For anyone who doesn't know what the competition was, you'll be very confused as to what that means, but all of you that entered, you know. And who won, Liam? Who's won this amazing prize?
This amazing prize was won by the fabulous Stephen McCrow. Well done you, mate. You have got a lifetime of learning Cameron Francis tricks, winging its way in the post to you, because you're awesome.
Well done, sir. So, Liam, what did you spend your weekend doing?
We were at the Session Convention.
Oh, yeah. I was there too.
You were. You drove us there. It was awesome. Yeah. Andy Gladwin and Joshua J and Kerry Scorer and Sarah Gladwin all put on a fabulous, I'm sure there was more people involved, but put on a fabulous convention. The Session is always my favourite convention because it's quite small and quite friendly, and there's lots of beer there, and you don't have to walk far from the lecture to the beer. So what's
very well organised. It really is. It really is a great convention to hang out at, and they do a really good job. It pains me to say nice things about Gladders, but there you go.
He tries so hard, though.
He does, yeah. Well, I get my revenge on Gladders every time at the Session, because every time I see him, I walk up to his stand and I push over all his books. He's got loads of books on, like little things. I walk past and knock them over. So, in fact, anyone watching the BBM TV, if you go to a convention and Vanishing Ink are there, just do that. Just knock the books over. And he loves it. Anyway, so while we were there, what did we see that was good?
We saw all kinds of good stuff. We saw Eric Jones busting out some... Well, I saw Eric Jones busting out some close-up on one of the sessions, and his magic is smoother than Galaxy Chocolate. It was awesome. We saw Piff the Magic Dragon, who was funny. Absolutely splendid. We saw... Who else did you see who was awesome?
Well, we got
who
there.
melted everyone's brains.
Yeah, I can't even say his name right. Danny D. Ortiz, is that how you say it? It's the Spanish magician who...
He's a student of Tamariz, isn't he? And that's quite apparent.
Yeah. I think it was described by someone as being as though Leonard Green had eaten Tamariz. And but you have no idea. It's like being 10 again.
He did to everybody at the session what Leonard Green did when he first hit the scene, which was make everybody just cry tears of despair. Because with his awesomeness, it really was just like, making everybody start again, basically.
Yeah, Google his name. We'll put it up on the screen. If you are not aware of this guy, you need to check it, because literally every attendee at the session was crying at some point. And on the Sunday when Danny gave a lecture explaining some of his stuff, it was literally like standing room only. There was no oxygen in that room because it was so rammed. It was really something else. The guy's incredible. Yeah, so that was pretty good. And then on the Sunday evening, there was a great show which Chris Kenner gave. Which was
the lecture thing. That was awesome, wasn't it?
Very funny. And
Quite controversial in a lot of places.
Yeah, he said some interesting stuff. You know,
he don't hold back.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's good.
The Simon Cowell of magic.
Yeah, pretty much. It's although I kind of feel a bit funny, like we're sat here telling about all the cool stuff that you didn't see and we did. So basically, this.
So go to the session next year.
That's it. Yeah, next year. There's only like it's 150 places or something.
Not
so
even that, I don't think.
Your best bet, get in now. Go to the website. Just buy a ticket now because I guarantee you'll have a good time. But there was one highlight we haven't mentioned.
A mega star of magic, a real worker.
Yeah. I mean, if you bear in mind that I think it was last year at the session that David Burglas, out of the blue, appeared. It was a shocking event for everyone. It's like, my God, this is like literally, one of the gods.
This is divine.
Yeah, it was, and a real treat for everyone that was there to meet David Burglas. And this year was no different. An absolute giant of magic appeared, and it was the fake Paul Gordon was actually at the session. So yeah, we caught up with him, had a bit of a chat, and he was launching a brand new product, which, we should warn you, parent advisory: do not continue watching BBM TV if you're of a nervous disposition or offended by full frontal male nudity and swear words. But that being said, the new effect by the
what
fake
a
Paul
worker!
Gordon, I mean, it's called cockwanked, which might give you some indication. But I mean, it caused a stir, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really something that I think you're gonna enjoy. I'm surprised he released it there and not at Come Kiss, which might have been the obvious place to release.
That is true. Yeah, that's his own convention. We should clarify. But yeah, while we were there and we had the cameras, so we thought we'd capture a performance of Cockwanked for you.
For your viewing pleasure.
We're going to roll it now, but please, if I'm not, all joking aside, if you are offended by puerile humour, then please don't watch the rest of this because it's a bit rude.
And if you do watch it, don't write in and complain because we don't care.
Hi and welcome to the session 2012. I'm Fake Paul Gordon and I'm nearly sold out of my new smashed real world worker, Cockwanked. Let's have a look at it. This is Cockwanked. It's printed on actual US playing card company stock. It's a real world worker. I would do some patter here, lots of jokes, plays very well. I'm not going to for some reason. Some people say the magic of Paul Gordon is like a small, flaccid, unimpressive penis. Hold your hand out for me, Lawrence. We'll use these 4 cards that have boobs on them. Lawrence, with your other hand, stroke your finger along the cards.
I feel comfortable holding a flaccid penis.
Well, we'll make that a bit better for you. Turn it over. You've been cockwanked!
Nice.
Printed with Comic Sans throughout. Quotes from fake Alex Elmsley, fake Jesus, and from John Bannon, I Want to Suck Your Penis. An advert for my award-winning Sunita act on the back. And then deliberately misprinted instructions. £5, the underground hit of the session 2012.
Hey there, so we're now going to explain that Elmsley count trick for you, which is very heavily based on David Britland's routine from Equinox. And I think it was called Dustbusters, but it might not have been, so we'll put the credits on for you at the end. But basically, it's all based on David's trick, and what I've done is a few technical changes to make it simpler, and then you get the full change of aces at the end, which I think is really cool. So let's take a look at how it's done quickly. We start off by setting the pack up. This is the setup you need on top of the pack. So you have the ace of spades face up on the deck, then one of the red aces face down on top, and then the last black ace, the ace of clubs, face down on top of all. Okay, so that's your setup. While you're setting them up, you might like to give the ace of spades a little bit of a bend to help you get a natural break later on, but that's up to you. Perfect. So, in performance, you spread through the deck. You up-jog the 4 queens, or whatever it is you want to use. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Strip them out, and then slip them to the bottom of the pack so that you can spread them over and display again as the 4 queens. And then you can get a little finger break underneath that ace of spades because of the bend, so you've got a natural break there basically. Alright, so show the queens, make sure that they're alternating here. This is a slight change from David's routine because I think if they see different colours all the time, it strengthens the illusion that you've got all 4 queens in the working packet. So you show them, You square up, and as you do so, you just down jog that queen of diamonds, which is the second one down. You want that down jogged. Okay. You flip over everything at your break, and then if I was performing, I would tilt my hand back so they don't see that big down jog. I don't want to make it so small I might miss it, so I'd prefer to make it big and then disguise it by tipping my hand back. And then you apparently lift off the queens, and your thumb just pushes down, so you're just picking up this packet of cards. And what that is the ace of spades, the two other aces, red and black, and then two mixed queens as well at the bottom. Alright, so now we can bust into the main trick. We're going to start off with an OPEC count, which is like the old Elmsley count, but instead of taking the top card, we take the bottom one. So this is Marlowe's OPEC count. 1, 2, 3, 4. We turn over the top card and slip it to the bottom, that's the Queen of Hearts. And we do the same again with the Queen of Spades. And we square everything up, push it through the hand with the Vernon through the fist flourish. And an Elmsley count, everything is straight Elmsley counts from now on in, which shows you that everything is straightened up. So that's the end of phase 1. And for phase 2, we're going to do the exact same thing again, but this time, and again, this is David Britland touch, and this is lovely, you can display the cards by touching here and pushing away from you. And that shows you 2 face up and 2 face down queens. Now combine the fact that they can see this, plus the fact that these are mixed and people aren't remembering the queens, this gives a really strong impression that there's 4 queens in this packet. You square up, you do your fancy move again, and a second Elmsley count to show everything has straightened itself back up. Perfect. Now, third time, you place, do the exact same thing again. You can't do the display here, so what I do is make a bigger deal of squaring everything up and turning it over really fairly, just to try and get it to build a bit. Click the fingers, another quick Elmsley count, show they've all straightened up, and then you leave that just for a couple of seconds, pause, and act like that's the end of the trick, so you get a reaction there. And then as an afterthought, you go into this big all aces change. Here's what you have to do. Just a magical gesture, you give the packet a little turn or something, and then Elmsley count to show that one of the queens has changed into the ace of spades, and up jog that as you come to it. Then we're going to strip that out to display it, flip it face down on top, then you can turn over the whole packet and do an Elmsley count, which will show that they've changed into the aces. And actually I do a split Elmsley count here typically, so I'll take off 1, then do the Elmsley count switch, 2, but then my hand turns over and drops those on top of the deck. As I then come back and say, and that's 3, and that's 4. And I think that's a much cleaner way of ending when you've got hidden cards in the packet. So I hope you enjoy that, and if you've been practicing your Elmsley count, you can bust that out at a moment's notice, and it's totally awesome.
Hello there, BBM TV. I don't know why I'm sounding like that. Yeah, you just caught me in the BBM studio, and we're trying to compose a theme tune, because Wizard Product Review have got that da-da-da, da-da-da, so we thought we'd do something like that, but maybe a bit more rock and roll, but just going to have a bit of a jam. I should point out, though, that a lot of people, when they play guitar, completely fail to tune it properly. If you're going to tune it, you've got to tune it like a man. So guitar shouldn't be up here. Guitar needs to be here. Right, so I think this is going to be our theme song. Nah, what about this? That didn't sound very good, did it? I've embarrassed myself. I'm going to stop now. All right. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep playing. You.